What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bond Armory. I'm Ray Crumpold, and today we are not going to be doing a firearm review. It's going to be more of a news general announcement kind of thing. As you can tell, I'm driving. I'm currently on my way to Free State Gun Range to pick up a new PPK. This is a different PPK than the one you saw in the review video, which was a pre-war. This is the most accurate to a Bond PPK, including the date of manufacturer that I could possibly find, or found as of yet. This is, I think, my 4th or 5th PPK, and I always buy, sell, trade, trying to, get it as accurate as possible. Finally made that happen, so very excited about that. We'll see it in a little bit. Number 2, I know the next video, full-length gun review video, I said I was going to do was going to be for the Fab Defense KPOS. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the case due to legal reasons. Meaning, the Fab Defense KPOS is actually a chassis, which you insert a Glock 17 into, and it becomes what they call a PDW, a personal defense weapon. Federal and state law says the minute you take a Glock 17 and insert it into the KPOS chassis, it becomes an SBR, a short-barreled rifle, which is highly regulated. It involves a stack of paperwork that goes to the ATF, along with a $200 tax stamp, and about a 6-month to a year wait. So it's going to be a while. I do have some other options. I could turn the Glock 17 into a carbine in the chassis. They do make really long carbine length barrels for the Glock 17. Unfortunately, they're notorious for jams and failed to feeds, failure to ejects, and things like that. So I'm kind of debating that still. We'll see what happens. Third, I've teamed up with ProGunClothing.com. Very cool 2A t-shirts, hats, really cool stuff, comfortable too. And if you use promo code JB007, JB007, you'll get 10% off your order. So that's exciting. Well, I'm parked. Let's go take a look at this PPK. Okay, so the range was a bit loud and a bit crazy. I decided not to stick around and we would just talk about the new gun in the workshop. I have a celebratory glass of Macallan already out. Here it is, 1966 Walther PPK, chambered in .32 ACP. Why am I so excited? This is the first time, I'm totally geeking out right now, I'm sorry. This is the first time I've owned a PPK that's the correct era and the correct caliber to be a Bond gun, what I consider a Bond gun. Plus there's a couple little tiny things that just, on this particular one, that just put it over the top for me. So, 1966, 1 year after Thunderball, which came out in 65, so it falls right in line, it's perfect, it's the right caliber. Let me show you something on this side. Like I said, this is the first one I've owned that's the correct era and caliber. My first was a .22 by Smith & Wesson, so that was just completely wrong. My second was a 1968 and .380, so it was the right era, wrong caliber. The one that you see in the PPK review video, that was a pre-war PPK. I think it was 1939 in .32, so it was wrong era, right caliber. You can argue that a pre-war PPK is a Bond gun. It's never used by Bond, but it does appear in the films. Actually, most recently, you can see it in the opening sequence of Spectre. With the octopus and the music, you see that spinning PPK. That's actually a pre-war model. Now, things that push this over the top for me, we're going to stick with the Bond theme, the serial number. No, I'm not within 1 or 2 digits. That would just be insane and awesome at the same time. But I am in the 200K series. This one earlier, but Connery, Moore, Dalton, and Craig, they all use PPKs that were in the 200K series. I think theirs were much further at the end. I think like 280 or 285,000, something like that. But still, I'm taking it. It's in the 200s. Close enough for me. The only way I would get rid of this one or replace this one, I think, is if a 62 or a 64 came up, so I could have a Dr. No connection with the 62. Goldfinger, probably my favorite film, 64. But the chances of getting that with no importation markings, with a similar serial number, I think that's never ever going to happen, so this is it for me. Another thing you're going to notice, and as a gun collector, this just blows my mind, on the slide right here, it's completely blank. There's no importation markings on this gun. So if we do a little bit of looking at history, World War II happens. Afterwards, Allies say, no, you can't make guns, West Germany. You guys are bad guys. What's Walther going to do? They need to make guns, they need to make their money, so they outsource to Mainhurin. It's a French company. I believe I'm saying that right. I've never known. But that started in 1953 to 1955. They took over. And they would stamp their company name there. The Walther banner, they replaced it with their company name. After them, Inter Arms took over in 56. Then same thing, they would stamp their logos. Then you had the Gun Control Act of 1968, which effectively stopped the importation of the PPK because it was 1/10 of an inch too short. That's right, 1/10 of an inch. But at least because of that law, that's how we ended up with the PPK-S. Effectively what Walther did to get that little extra length, rather than redesign the PPK, they just mated a PPK slide to a PP frame. And there you go, PPK-S. After that, who was it? Interarms kept going. Then you had 1986, I believe it was, where Ranger Manufacturing took over. 2002, Smith & Wesson had the contract for PPKs, and they redesigned the frames. The slide was a little bit different. My personal opinion, I don't like them. That's. I'll just leave it at that. 2017, Walther USA takes back over production. But a couple years ago, they actually said they weren't going to be producing the PPK anymore. So all of that combined, no importation marks, awesome serial number, era, caliber, all of that. This is a Bond gun to me. Super excited. So I guess it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous gun. The reason I like the post-war as opposed to the pre-war also, aside from the Bond connection, actually it is more of a Bond connection. It's just more streamlined. The lines of it are just gorgeous. It's nice and smooth. It actually kind of reminds me of like an Aston Martin, a DB5, like the headlights or something. Beautiful, beautiful gun. Great craftsmanship, super accurate. Absolutely love it. So cheers to the new PPK. And cheers to you. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe the video, follow me on Instagram. We should have a full firearm review coming up soon. Unfortunately, like I said, it's not going to be the Fab Defense KPOS, which will eventually happen. Maybe we'll do something Roger Moore era. We'll leave it at that. Thanks again.